Hi, welcome to our final video project. Our group is called Transformation, and this semester we have covered the wicked problem of industrial agriculture. In this video, we're going to talk about our current state analysis, as well as a brief history of how production methods have changed in agriculture, the stakeholders that are involved, the impact on the water cycle, different scenarios, and lastly, our vision for the future. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoy.
In the early 20th century, the agriculture industry was very labor intensive. Half of all the U.S. workforce was employed by the agriculture industry. Since 1900, the number of farms has decreased, and by the 1970s, only 4% of the labor force was employed in agriculture. This was due to technological innovations in the farming industry and changing market conditions. Production became much more efficient because of mechanized harvesting. Advances in plant and animal breeding, along with the increased use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides, helped to increase crop yields. Farms previously specialized in 5 commodities, but as of the year 2000, this has become 1 commodity per farm. The number of farms in the U.S. has also decreased, while at the same time, the size of individual farms has increased. So while the labor force was shrinking, farms were growing larger. Stakeholders in the food production industry include farmers, consumers, the environment, and any other organisms that would be affected by unintended consequences. Over the years, the agricultural policies that have been put in place help farmers financially. The Agriculture and Consumer Protection Act helped to increase reliance on the free market and reduce dependence on price supports. Although there are policies in place, there is controversy over how much aid the agricultural industry receives. The Congressional Budget Office estimates that aid to farmers will be close to $24 billion by the year 2017. Newer programs are set up to ensure farmers are getting compensated for their crops even as the market price falls. For consumers, we have seen an increase in convenience and availability of different types of foods, along with affordable pricing thanks to government subsidizing. However, there are still problems with food scarcity around the world. Some countries, like the U.S., have an overabundance of calories available to them, while others have a severe lack of nutrition. This can even be seen within the U.S. itself. Consumers are able to afford healthier foods depending on their income level. The USDA has implemented programs to help with this as well. Programs like SNAP help to assist low-income families with meeting nutritional needs. Because of population increases, the movement toward factory-type farming seemed to be the best solution. But environmental changes have been seen as a result of industrial farming. Increased use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides have caused damage to water systems because of increased levels of nitrogen and phosphorus. Agriculture also accounts for 70% of water use. In the state of Arizona, groundwater, lakes, and rivers are being monitored for water quality. Because water is a common resource and everyone uses it, it can be susceptible to tragedy of the commons. In order to prevent future issues, the Arizona Department of Environmental Quality has implemented programs like the Clean Lakes Program, where monitoring is used to identify potential point and non-point sources of pollution, like agricultural runoff. Data is recorded and managed, allowing researchers to evaluate pollution sources and water quality trends. This is just one of many programs like the Clean Water Act and many others that are being implemented locally, nationally, and around the world to find a solution to clean water needs. Recently, consumers have seemed to become more aware of how their choices dictate the market and affect the environment. There is a greater demand for sustainable, organic, and locally produced goods. Businesses now have pressure to implement more sustainable business practices. We have a complex problem with direct and indirect effects on many different stakeholders. It will be difficult to find a solution with few unintended consequences. But there must be an intervention point so we can begin to reverse the negative effects of our anthropocentric worldview.